Hello students, my name is Prerna and I'm your EVS teacher. And today from your EVS book Enviro, we are going to be reading chapter number 5. So let us start reading this chapter. This is chapter number 5 and the title of the chapter is Games Along Exercise. So are we talking about games or are we talking about exercise? Let us read this chapter to understand. In India, some sports are more popular than other sports in a particular state or region. For example, cricket is great liking in Maharashtra, football gets preference in Goa, Kerala and West Bengal, and kabaddi and wrestling are very popular in Haryana. In Punjab, hockey is of great liking. So, different sports, different likings in different states. All right. Now we move on further. Local games and sports. Games which are played only in certain areas are local games of that place. They reflect the tradition and culture of that particular area. Some local games played in different parts of India are as follows. So now we are going to talk about the local games. The first local game which is given here is Kho-Kho. It is played by teams of 12 members who try to avoid being touched by the members of opposing team. And so all of you have played this game. In Kho-Kho, one team sits or kneels in a row in the middle of the court with alternate members in the row facing opposite directions. The other team sends in 2 or 3 members at a time in the court, and then they have to keep running in an sometimes in an oval manner so that the opposing team is able to touch the member of the other team. Then you have archery. It is practiced all over India. It is a part of international sports competitions as well. Toda is a traditional form of archery which is practiced in Himachal Pradesh. A small piece of wood is attached to the head of an arrow so that it becomes blunt. One side tries to hit the other with an arrow while the other side tries to avoid being hit. Lightning movements and agility are the sole methods of defense. The whole competition is conducted to the lively rhythm of war dance. Then you have animal racing. Bullock races and camel races are very famous among villagers. During the festive occasion, they start preparing themselves with their bullocks for the event. They increase the diet of animals and give them oil massage. Children with parents enjoy cockfights and snake fights. In old age, people like to play chess and cards with batting in their win. Alright, so these are the images of different sports. So this is Kho-Kho, this is archery and this is a bullock race. So the image of these 3 local games is given. Now we talk about a very interesting game, that is gymnastics. It is a sport that includes exercises requiring balance, strength, flexibility, agility, coordination and endurance. Practice of gymnastics was started in countries like China and Japan. Some gymnast games played in India. So gymnast also has various forms. Now 3 such forms are practiced in India. The first one is nuts. In many parts of India, gymnasts are performed by acrobats called nuts, practicing various games of gymnastics, hand and headstands, cartwheels, balancing poles on their heads. So you can see this little child is actually an Indian acrobat. She's performing nuts or walking a tightrope or on stilts. They start training at a young age and work hard to stay fit and agile. They usually train with their family members who have practiced and perfected this art from over several generations. They put up their shows at various villages, towns and cities. Sometimes you might also see these Indian acrobats maybe in a fair. All right. So what happens is that these people who are performing these particular tasks, who are into these performances, they are very well trained over years. All right. Then the next form of gymnast, which has actually, become popular, or a lot of people have come to know about it in recent years, is Malkham. It is a kind of Indian gymnast usually performed on a pole. So you can see these people performing Malkham. And it is not just one person who performs it, it's generally two or more than two people together performing this art of gymnast. These exercises are helpful in making the body light and strong, and these are practiced by wrestlers, right? Now we talk about martial arts. These are the codified systems and traditions of combat practice for a number of reasons, such as self-defense, physical fitness, entertainment, physical, mental, and spiritual development. Why do we talk about spiritual development? Because initially when you start learning martial arts, you are asked to do a lot of meditation. All right. There are different forms of martial arts practiced in India. So, like for gymnasts, you have Nats and Malkham. For martial arts, also there are different forms in India. What are these? First is wrestling or kushti. This is practiced in a place, which has a lot of probably mud around, and it's called as akhada. And the players who wrestle there are called pehlwans. They follow regular practice routine and eat healthy food. All wrestlers consider the Hindu deity Hanuman to be their guru and pay tribute to Hanuman before each practice. The traditional akhadas have a mud training area, although many akhadas are now switching to more modern wrestling mats. The mud that is used in these pits, specially prepared by adding ghee, rose petals, and medicinal herbs, because while they are practicing, there are chances of them of getting hurt, right? So all these things are added in the mud. Nowadays, wrestling provides entertainment to people on large scale, and every akhada has its own unique warm-up program. So before playing any sport, you have warm-up exercises. Same is the case with wrestling. Then you have Kalarapattu. It is the martial art of Kerala. So I'll tell you in very simple words. So what happens is people have they're carrying a shield and they have swords, and they probably dive into the air, and they attack the other person. The other person tries to defend, and it is a treat to the eyes. All right, and the origin is from Kerala. It is a weapon-based art. It involves kicks and strokes. Kalari refers to the floor where the martial art is taught. The moves of this system of fighting were used in films like Ashoka and the Myth. So this is Kalarapati. You can see people carrying swords and shield, and this is Kushti. Then you have Gatka. This art belongs to Sikhs of Punjab, in which weapons like sticks, kirpans, swords, and katars are used, and it is displayed during fairs in Punjab. All right. Sometimes you might see a glimpse of Gatka while you have processions going on a religious festival of Sikhs. Then you have Silambam. Silambam. It is a popular Indian traditional sport played in Tamil Nadu. You can see this. It is also a weapon-based martial art. Games begins with salutations to God, the opponents, spectators, and teachers. Players need to try and touch each other's body by making use of a staff. Now, what is the effect of playing these games? When we run or exercise, we need more energy. So the heart pumps more blood and hence it beats rapidly. Our lungs expand and contract as we breathe. Breathing is the process, of course, by which we inhale oxygen and we exhale carbon dioxide. And of course, oxygen is important for us. Oxygen enters our body through the nose into sponge bags called lungs, and lungs are located in our chest. The lungs are made up of millions of air passages. The lungs are protected by the rib cage. There is a muscle below the rib cage known as the diaphragm. And what happens the moment you're breathing in and out, the diaphragm also moves. From the lungs, blood absorbs oxygen and carries it into the different parts of the body. So this is air being inhaled and the lungs taking in. This is the diaphragm. The carbon dioxide along with water vapor is thrown from the nose. Taking in fresh air is known as inhalation and giving out used air is called as exhalation. When we inhale, the rib cage moves up, the diaphragm flattens and chest expands. When we exhale, that is when we give the breath out, the rib cage, it moves down and the diaphragm rises and the chest contracts. So when we play, our lungs and heart, they need to work together. So this in turn makes them healthy and strong. So there is no need to do any other exercise if we play properly. And to strengthen the flow of blood in our body and to strengthen our lungs, we do warm-up exercises before playing. Blow hot, blow cold. Let's look at what this is. This process is done by our breath. Our breath has both warming and cooling effects. When milk or water is hot, you generally blow in your milk to make it cool down. So you blow it so that it cools down. On the other hand, when you feel it is too cold, you blow air from your mouth on your hands like this to make them warm, right? So we can say our blow provides both warmth as well as cooling effect. Blowing helps to the fire to burn. You might have seen villages and houses where coal fire is used for preparing food. They blow on it to make fire become strong. This is due to blowing of oxygen, which helps it to burn, right? So we have learned about so many forms of Indian sports, and what we can do is we can see that like in the previous chapter I told you, even for this chapter you can do this activity, that for all the sports which are listed in this chapter, you can find out who are the Indians who have made a global mark in these sports. All right, thank you so much.